Just this morning, ChatGPT released a bunch of brand new upgrades that completely change everything once again, because they launched ChatGPT 5.6 and ChatGPT Work last week, but now they've got brand new settings you need to make sure that they're turning on. They just launched a brand new app that you need to make sure that you're updating, and so much more. So let's dive into all these changes and how to get the most out of them. Okay, so that first ChatGPT update that we need to talk about is actually something that just got tweeted out just this morning. So we could see that ChatGPT's desktop app was now completely updated right here. And what you need to make sure that you do is actually come into your ChatGPT desktop app. In the top left-hand corner, you're going to see that you could click on ChatGPT. You're going to see check for updates. You want to make sure that you click on that, because once you actually update this, what this is going to do is make your desktop app and your regular web application in sync now. A lot of users were complaining about this, that your projects weren't getting ported over, your chats weren't getting ported over, your memory wasn't getting ported over, but now all of that's ported over. In addition, if we come over here to this tweet, we could see ChatGPT conversation history and projects are now visible on the sidebar. Also, your chat and work history now sync across web, mobile, and desktop. Local tasks will still stay on your computer. In addition to that, you can now easily switch between chat and work modes on side of the desktop app, and nothing changed for users of Codec. So if we come back over here, we could see that we can now choose between ChatGPT Work right here, where we could get tasks done with our files and with our apps, and we can actually give this full access to our computer, or we could come over here and we could just simply chat, where we could ask questions and explore ideas. But more on ChatGPT Work later, because there's a ton of new things that you need to make sure you're doing with it. But first, I wanted to get into a bunch of new settings that ChatGPT released that you need to make sure you're turning on. Now, those settings are actually going to be different whether you're on the desktop or if you are on the web application. So I want to go through the desktop first. What you're going to want to do is click on the bottom left-hand corner right here. You want to click on settings, and this is going to bring up tons and tons of different settings that you need to now make sure are going to be enabled and are going to be used. The first ones that I want to go through are going to be computer use right here. You want to make sure that you have any app installed right here. You want to make sure that you have the Google Chrome extension installed, Microsoft Excel installed, because what this is going to allow you to do is actually allow ChatGPT to take over your computer and the different apps that you're using, which makes it way more powerful if you're using this desktop app. In addition to that, you could actually let ChatGPT use your Mac when it's locked. So even if your Mac is off, ChatGPT could use it. Again, depending on what you're using ChatGPT for, you might want to turn this on. In addition to that, under browser right here, you want to make sure that you're coming over here and you are turning this on. This is going to allow ChatGPT to actually control its built-in browser. In addition to that, you can actually choose what destination this uses right here. You could have it use ChatGPT or the default browser. I would have default browser turned on. Under local URL destination, you could do the same exact thing here between ChatGPT and the default browser. You could also go through and you could actually clear all of your browsing history, and you could manage right here what it's actually going to have access to. So if you want ChatGPT to have access to your passwords, your contact information, your location, all of that, you could give it access to that inside of this right here. In addition to that, if we come over into app shots right here, you want to make sure that this is going to be turned on also, because what this is going to allow ChatGPT is this is going to allow ChatGPT to be able to see your screen, what you're doing very easily, so that you can give it more context and, quite frankly, just make it better. Now, in addition to that, we can see that there are a bunch of different coding settings that you need to make sure that you're going through and you are turning on if these things are going to be relevant for you, like controlling your Mac, controlling other devices, and so much more. But on top of that, you also want to make sure that you're coming over into your settings on ChatGPT Web right here, because like I was sharing with you before, this has different new settings that you need to make sure are enabled. If we come over here and click on the left-hand side, we click on settings right here. The first one that you are going to notice is higher intelligence and enable ultra effort. You want to make sure that both of these are turned on, because higher intelligence allows ChatGPT to automatically use a higher intelligence setting when you ask it a complex question. Basically, this is going to allow ChatGPT to control which model you're using. In addition to that, enable ultra effort. This allows ChatGPT to use multiple agents in parallel for your most ambitious tasks. What this is going to allow it to do is, one, be able to handle more advanced tasks, but two, get them done a lot quicker. Because if you're not doing things in parallel, that means you're doing one, and then another, and then another. You don't want that happening. You want 3 different paths all getting done at the same time, because things get done way faster. In addition to that, if we come under voice right here, we're going to see that this looks completely different. We can now choose which voice model you're actually using between live, advanced, and standard. In addition to that, you can control the intelligence under here between instant, medium, and high, and you can now go through and actually choose a bunch of different voices. I would strongly suggest that you go through and you actually play with this and see which one you like the most, which one fits your personality the best, and which intelligence you need depending on how you're using ChatGPT voice. In addition to that, if we come under personalization right here, we could see that they released a bunch of new things like base style and tone. You can now choose which one you want. Characteristics is also new, so you could choose how warm it is, how enthusiastic it is, how many times it uses headers and lists, or if you wanted to use more clear formatting or more paragraphs. In addition to that, you could choose whether or not it uses emojis directly from inside of personalization right here. Now, you also want to make sure that you're coming into data controls and you are actually going through and you are allowing this based on what you actually find comfortable, because we can see there are a lot more data controls in here. In addition to that, under cloud browser, you want to make sure that you're coming in here and you are actually turning this on. I would strongly suggest that you probably have this on always allow if you feel safe with what you're asking ChatGPT to do, because then it won't question you every single time that you go to do something. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is brand new to ChatGPT, and quite frankly, I'm pretty upset about this. And what I'm referring to here is now if we come over into usage, we could see ChatGPT is now tracking your usage right here. You could go through how many times you can actually reset your usage, and usage is going to be shared across Codex, workspace agents in ChatGPT. And what this is going to do is if you're trying to automate things, if you are trying to go through and you are trying to actually get this to do real work, like what I'm going to share with you in a little bit, this is going to eat away at your usage. And then the issue that you're going to run into is you're going to have to keep paying if you want ChatGPT to keep being powerful. Now, you're also going to notice the same thing inside of usage from the ChatGPT desktop app. You could see what plan you're on, how many credits you have, what your usage is, and then this goes through all of your different usage based on different tools. And again, what this is going to do is prevent you from using ChatGPT's best models, best features in order to do the most capable work, which is a huge pain. Now, before I get into those other ChatGPT changes that are only going to keep getting crazier and crazier, I wanted to make sure that you're not only optimizing how you're using AI, but you're also not spending too much on things that you shouldn't be. Because if you feel like you're spending more money on AI, but you're not getting more value in return, then you need to stop token maxing and you need to start value maxing. And lucky for you, if you go to the pinned comment below, Zapier put together a free resource that walks you through how to prevent ChatGPT and other AI tools and AI agents that you're using from wasting your tokens and, quite frankly, wasting your money on things that you shouldn't even have them doing. On top of that, really quickly, I want to walk you through exactly how you could actually use this free guide and white paper that they created to get the most out of AI while spending less money doing stuff. Okay, so if you go to that pinned comment below, you're going to be taken to this page right here, which shows you how to actually stop your AI bill from climbing. And we could see that this goes through with different things. For example, how to get the same outcome with a very different bill, how people are saving 71% on average in order to run different agents. And we could see that the AI cost reckoning is here. So in order to get this, you're simply just going to click on get this guide right here. And this brings you to this 21-page guide that they put together that is absolutely incredible. And it shows you how to save up to 71%. So what you're going to do is you are going to download this right here, this guide. We're going to come over here. We're going to save this. We're going to come into ChatGPT, and then I actually want to put this in here. So we're going to take this right here and we're going to say, based on how I use ChatGPT and AI agents, please let me know what from this guide applies to me and how I can use it. And then what this is actually going to do is this is going to go through the guide for us so that we don't have to go through all 21 pages here. And this is going to give us a personalized response of exactly how we should be using this. And this actually goes through and says this is a very relevant guide for how I use AI. And this literally breaks down everything that I should be doing differently when it comes to my AI usage, my AI agents. And ChatGPT knows better than anybody because I'm actually going through and I'm using it all the time. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you here is just how powerful ChatGPT Work is. So we can now come over here and we could get this to do pretty much anything that we want. For example, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, I want to create a YouTube video for how the TikTok algorithm works for 2026. Could you please do research and give me the following? 1, I want 3 different title ideas. 2, I want a description optimized for SEO. 3, I want tags optimized for SEO based on the titles and the description. I want a script in my usual format and I want a thumbnail for the video. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to choose Terra for this because I want this to go through and do this a little bit quicker. I'm going to put this on high. Under speed, we're going to go with fast. We're going to click on send prompt right here. And this is now going to go through and this is going to work through what used to be like a multi-hour process for me. Doing the research, coming up with the titles, coming up with the description, having my editor go through and actually grab a thumbnail for me. This all used to take a really long period of time for me to be able to do this. But now ChatGPT Work is going to be able to handle this like crazy. Essentially what ChatGPT Work is they made ChatGPT Agent into just a chat feature that is way more powerful. And we can see this is now going through, pulling all of these different sources right here, which is absolutely insane. And it's going to create all of these different outputs. I mean, look at this. I could literally scroll here on the right side for a crazy period of time before I actually get to the bottom of this. And this is doing all of this in parallel, all incredibly quickly. And it's going to do hours of work for me, literally in probably less than a minute or two. Now, as this goes off and actually does this, I wanted to show you what actually makes this powerful. And that is that now if we come into ChatGPT and we click on plugins right here, we can actually connect ChatGPT to way more apps and way more skills. So as we can see right here, ChatGPT now has way more skills for data analytics, for productivity, and a bunch of different things where you can actually connect it to all of these different apps. In addition to that, if we click on this plus right here, you can now connect ChatGPT to any MCP that you want. And I actually have one for YouTube, which is what's allowing ChatGPT Work to do such an amazing job on that task that I showed you over in the other thing. In addition to that, if we come under skills right here, you can now generate skills for ChatGPT. If we click on this plus again, you could create them with the chat, you could create them with an editor, or you could upload them from your computer. And what skills are going to be are instructions that extend ChatGPT's capabilities, which is pretty incredible. So you need to make sure that you're going through this and you're adding all of these in here that you use every single day. For example, maybe you use Stripe. If we come over here, we could do a search for the plugins and we could see that they now have access to Stripe. And if we actually click on this, this will show you everything that this allows you to do, like show me a list of my customers or what products I have or the prices that I've created. You can also get this to actually go through and create all these different skills right here, which is incredibly powerful. Now, if we come back over into my ChatGPT Work, we could see that this went through and this completed all of this. So we have our outputs right here. First, we have our thumbnail and we could adjust this if we wanted to in any way. But other than that, we could come over here and actually click on this video package and check this out. This goes through all of the different title options, gives me a recommended title, gives me an SEO description, gives me SEO tags right here. What's even crazy is that this literally knew what kind of call to action I add into my content and even put that there to check out Content Buddy. Now we can come over here and see this did the script in the exact format for which I do my content, which is incredible right here. And this goes through all the different updates that somebody needs to make sure that they're aware of. In addition to that, this also gave me a script for a YouTube short, goes through all of my different research insights, actually links out to them so I can understand exactly where it got this information from. And all of this is incredible. What's even crazier is if I come over to plugins right here, we could see we could set up this HeyGen plugin right here, which actually would allow me to connect this over here to my AI avatar right here. And this would actually create the entire piece of content for me. Now, I am going to guess that you probably can't tell right now whether this video was actually generated with AI or not. So in the comment below, let me know what you think. But the next thing that we need to get into are going to be ChatGPT sites. So now if we come back over into ChatGPT on the desktop right here, we click on sites right here. You can now come over here, click on create, and you can describe exactly what kind of website you want to build. And ChatGPT will literally go off and it will build the website for you. For example, if we come over into sites right here, we could see that I created this website right here that we actually have to change permissions on. So if we very quickly actually come over in here, and come over here to this little button right here, come over here and click on settings. It can actually come over here and share settings. I'm going to make this available to anybody. So we're going to come over here. We're going to make this available to anybody on the internet. We're going to publish this, and then I'm going to be able to show you exactly what this website looks like right here. So if we click on visit, this is now actually going to pull up this website for us. If we refresh this right here, we could see exactly what this website looks like right here. And look at this. This website is literally live on the internet. ChatGPT designed it. ChatGPT created it. We could literally even come over here, click on join accelerator, and this goes through everything that you can actually do. This is absolutely insane that you're now able to do this. So now from inside of ChatGPT now, we could get ChatGPT to control our computer. We could get ChatGPT to connect to anything that we want. We could get ChatGPT to build websites for us about anything that we want. We could get ChatGPT to actually be able to handle complex work. So now ChatGPT by itself connects to anything, can build anything, can automate anything. And we didn't even get into this, but if we come over into schedules now here, you could actually go through and create different automations for anything that you want. You could get ChatGPT to automate things inside of the plugins that I showed you. You could get it to automate research. You could get it to automate doing things on your actual computer. And all of this is now possible directly from inside of ChatGPT, both from ChatGPT Web and from the ChatGPT desktop app. And we're not even getting to the point that you can also use codecs from directly inside of here, which is insane. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn about a bunch of other new ChatGPT features that you need to make sure that you're using, you need to check out this video right here that walks you through a bunch of other changes. In fact, this video got more than 50,000 views in just 24 hours, so a lot of people are loving it, so I would check it out.